TeamSpeak is proprietary voice-over Internet protocol software that allows computer users to speak on a chat channel with fellow computer users, much like a telephone conference call. A TeamSpeak user will often wear a headset with a microphone. Users use the TeamSpeak client software to connect to a TeamSpeak server of their choice. From there they can join chat channels. The target audience for TeamSpeak is gamers, who can use the software to communicate with other players on the same team of a multiplayer game. Communicating by voice gives a competitive advantage by allowing players to keep their hands on the controls. Server: the TeamSpeak server currently runs on Microsoft Windows, Mac OS X, Linux and FreeBSD and uses a web-based UI or command line to control server administration and settings. The server runs as a dedicated server separate from the client. TeamSpeak clients are available for Windows, Mac OS X, Linux, iOS, and Android. TeamSpeak will begin to support IPv6 in an upcoming beta version, scheduled to be released in 2015. The TeamSpeak 3 server can be used at no cost for up to 32 slots. For non-commercial use, non-profit licenses are available that allow to use the server with up to 512 slots at a time. With the use of 512-slot server, admins can choose to split up the slots into multiple virtual server instances. TeamSpeak 2 supports virtual server instancing. This allows up to 75 server instances to be contained in one process on the server. Additional server processes can be run to increase this further. Port 9987 is the default UDP port for TeamSpeak 3. TeamSpeak 3. The current version of TeamSpeak has been in development since 2004. It is a complete rewrite with many new features, but has had infrequent updates on the development blog, and was first estimated to be released in mid-2006. The first public release of the TeamSpeak 3 SDK was on June 5, 2008, with the integrated solution in the MMO game Vendetta Online. Open beta for TeamSpeak 3 released on December 9, 2009. Open beta was closed on August 10, 2011 and replaced with TeamSpeak 3.0.0 Final, which is the first stable release of TeamSpeak 3. TeamSpeak 3 introduced the use of unique IDs, housed in the program as identities, that are randomly generated at the time of a client's initial setup. An identity contains a nickname, the unique ID and an identity name. The unique ID is used by the server to grant permissions to the user. Unique IDs replace the need for a user to register with the server to keep their user group, be it a channel group or a server group. Permissions system equals. When TeamSpeak 3 was first introduced to the general public in open beta, the server administrators were met with a major change in how they granted administrative powers to their users, in the way of a permissions system based on Boolean and integer. The new permissions system allows server administrators to have more control over how their users use the server. The permissions system has two types of integer-based permissions, power and needed power. The power is the power level in numbers that the group user has for that permission. The needed power is the power level in numbers needed by the group user to use that specific permission. If the power level is lower than the needed power level, then the permission cannot be used. If the power level is equal to or higher than the needed power level, then the group user will be able to use it. TeamSpeak 3 also has a 5-tier hierarchy within its permissions system: server group, client permissions, channel groups and channel client permissions. The 5 are used to override another type, also known as inheriting. This allows for highly complex permissions for users, giving users more powers and users in TeamSpeak without giving away complete control to the users of the server. With the release of later versions, the TeamSpeak developers created easier ways to set up permissions in the way of a standard permissions display by default in the client. This placed the original permissions system display behind the standard one, calling it Advanced Permissions Display. This allowed beginners more ease of use when setting up a TeamSpeak 3 server. Some still prefer the advanced system because it allows more control over which permissions get changed, whereas the standard changes many permissions at the same time. TeamSpeak 3 updates TeamSpeak 3 uses an improved update system that updates only the files necessary, resulting in faster updates without the need to re-download the entire program. In popular culture, TeamSpeak was mentioned numerous times within South Park's episode titled Make Love, Not Warcraft, which aired October 4, 2006 on Comedy Central. See also, comparison of VoIP software, Mumble, Mohawk Voice, Roger Wilco, Skype, Ventrilo, XFIRE. References. External links, official website.